with Matt CC, who's going to be talking about how you can craft a community landing page that connects. This is always like one of those things where it feels a little bit like black magic when you're setting up your landing page, right? You don't know what to put on there. It's this like blank screen. What is actually going to connect with the folks that are visiting that page? What is actually going to really resonate with the people that you need to, so that you can actually get them in the door and start, getting them involved in your community. And so as we kick off, the biggest thing that I want to call out is, thank you guys so much for being here. You have already done the hardest part. We're live streaming this live to YouTube, to LinkedIn, and so you can respond in the comments no matter where you're watching in from. It's all going to come in the same place. Myself, Misty, Matt, we're all sitting over here in Riverside, so if you're joining us directly through Riverside, we're excited to see you here. And if you're joining us elsewhere, don't worry, just drop it in the comments and we will see it. And we do love the live interaction here, so if you're dropping comments in, we're going to pull those up on screen. We're going to try and make sure that we can incorporate that in what we're talking about. If there's questions, if there's clarifications, we're going to make sure to pull those up as well too. If you do want to join on through mic and ask a question, you will need to join us on the Riverside studio, and the join link to the event page in our Hearth community has that. So you can just click on that and then click the request live call-in button right underneath our faces. But yeah, house rules over here is, like I said, you can call in, you can come in on stage. So if you do have questions that you want to ask live, maybe it helps to have a little bit more voiceover to them, feel free to jump in and do that. Drop in any questions in the chat. And then last thing is be respectful, usually not too much of an issue. In terms of what we're going to cover is we're going to talk a little bit more about Matt and his background, and then we're just going to hand it off to him for the next 30, 45 minutes so he can share all of the wisdom, all of the knowledge that he's come in ready for you. A little bit more about Matt. Matt is a web designer, he's an educator, he's a filmmaker, and he's the founder of A Creative. He's actually a top 20 Wix designer and community leader, and he's built websites and learning experiences for over 150 brands and taught thousands of entrepreneurs how to grow online with intention. He's created curriculum and communities for Wix, Apple, Block, and international film festivals, including Nifty and Catalyst Stories, reaching audiences worldwide. Together, he is actually leading a creative duo with his partner, Joey, and their public filmmaking project, Film It Together, which promotes a sustainable, values-driven approach to storytelling. They're currently making a movie about sleep and sharing the entire process at acreativeduo.com, inviting filmmakers and film lovers to participate. So blended in his background in film and technology and passion, Matt actually simplifies digital spaces while helping people build with purpose. And when he's not designing and teaching, he enjoys traveling with his family, playing soccer, and creating stories that connect. So today what we're going to be focusing on is really how do you build a landing page that connects with your audience, connects with your next potential members, and how do you make sure that when they land on that page, they instantly see themselves represented in there. And so this is going to be an interactive session. We're going to use a simple formula to craft copy and sections that make your audience feel seen and excited to join. You don't need any technical skills to participate. So whether you are starting completely fresh or improving an existing landing page, what you will walk away with today is practical steps that you can apply right away. So this session is for anybody who's a community builder, a membership owner, creator, and is trying to make a better first impression with their landing page. If that sounds like you, I promise you are right here in the correct space. So without further ado, I'm so excited to hand off the rest of the call to Matt. Matt not only is just like an incredible, brilliant, human being, but he is so thoughtful in the way that he thinks about using technology to connect people together that anytime I'm on a call with Matt, I learn a ton and I'm taking notes myself. So Matt, without further ado, the rest of the call is all yours, my man. Take it away.
We're getting a lot of
Thank you for
comments.
Thanks for the intro. Yeah. You might have to help me out with the chat as we go, just because I want to make sure to address people's questions. But yeah, I appreciate that. As I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen just because I'll want to walk through this. And as a quick heads up for what to expect today, we're going to work together. So while I'll share some information with you, I want you to feel like an active participant. So you can actually start building yours. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second here. I just want to make sure that I can see the chat as I present. Okay. So welcome to the Craft Community landing page that connects. In this tutorial, we're going to follow a simple formula to craft copy and sections that make your audiences feel seen and excited to join. Now, I did plan to introduce myself, but you did such a wonderful job that I'm just going to skip past it. So feel free to rewatch that part if you're just joining in. But yeah, I thank you. So here's what's in store for today. We're going to kick things off with a little rest and reset and connection. I find that it's a great way to start learning something new. We're going to spend some time learning what makes for an effective community landing page. You're welcome to take notes. At the end, I'll also be sharing a landing page resource guide for everybody for free. That's here today. And for those of you who are catching this as a replay, you can grab that link too. It's supposed to serve as an assistive tool for you and taking what we're learning today a whole lot further by putting it into practice. So we're also going to do a little bit of practicing today. It wouldn't be a tutorial, I think, without actively practicing together what we're learning. And there's also going to be some time for questions with the practice time, as well as a dedicated space for reflection at the end. Plus, I always appreciate feedback, so it's great to hear from you specifically. My aim for you when you leave today is that you'll have a better understanding of the key components to a landing page. You'll also be able to write more engaging headlines and have a clear idea of what that looks like, what that feels like, and what that sounds like. You'll be able to grow your audience with confidence, knowing that your landing page and what you're creating through this tutorial is going to help you feel much better about increasing your subscribers or the members to your community. And you'll also create a solid connection with your users. A lot of time you hear this word lead magnets or conversions, and I feel it takes away the focus from the human behind the screen that becomes a part of your community and instead puts it on a number. So I use different words, but essentially they're the same. Throughout this tutorial, we're going to really focus on actually making a connection with your audience, making them feel heard, making them feel valued, and allowing yourself to build a community business that works for you, not the other way around. So now that I've shared with you what I hope for you to take away from today's session, I would also like to ask, what are you hoping to learn today? Feel free to post in the chat as you go.
Sometimes we have a little delay, but they're going to start coming in. Okay, we got Tracy has the best way to maximize a landing page. Let's see, Sarah, more creative ways to invite folks to community. Dwight, I'm a bit confused about how to create and view a landing page in Heartbeat specifically. Let's see, Rick, it keeps moving on me. I want to have a better grasp on using the landing page. And Catherine, I'm getting started and about to launch. I want to make it exciting and engaging and build up lots of excitement. Let's see. Victoria wants to make people feel heard. I love that. I love that. Keep shifting. What to put on the
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot of people curious to make sure that their audience, the people that they're promoting or marketing to, feel like this is something that they might want to join. But also there might be some complexities to what makes up a landing page, or what section should I include, or what information should I put out there? And then also the question comes up of how do I do that? So you're in the right place. This is exactly what I hope to cover in this session. And then always feel welcome to reach out after if you have more questions as well. All right, so let's get started by taking a little time to reset and build connection. Before we dive deep into the learning portion, I want each of us to take a moment of rest, reflection, and reset. Wherever you came from before this, or wherever you're going next, I want you to give yourself permission to be here in the now. For you, for the other members that are here, and for your audience. When you're present, you'll be more intentional with how to take your next steps, how you design your business for others, and how that will allow you to build an online business that helps you live the life that you want. This is a safe space to learn, to ask questions, and to support each other. With that in mind, I'd like to share a prompt with you to write in your journal or your note app, or if you're on social, feel free to share with your audience. What is one form of self-care that you can do today? Feel free to take some time to write it in the chat or write it down for yourself. We'll spend a couple minutes just thinking about this. Something that brings you joy. It could be an activity that you do already or you haven't done in a while. What brings you energy in the day? What recharges your battery? I love that Jonathan said, go for a run. I'm planning to go for a walk after this as well. I went for one before just to get into nature. It helps me feel like I'm able to recharge as someone who identifies as an introvert, but also just the ability to reconnect with nature, get away from the screens, you know?
Oh, I love
Guided
this one. Snuggle
meditation,
the
snuggle
dog.
the dog. Yeah.
Yes. Work out.
Tom came in with eat some bacon after my own heart as well.
Bubble bath. Maybe some bacon
Ooh,
in
love it.
the bubble bath. Yeah.
No. All right. Thank you for doing that for yourself, and also thanks for sharing. So let's begin with a simple formula for crafting a community landing page that connects. Specifically, it's a formula with 3 steps for copywriting that you can use over and over and over again as you write text for your landing page. Before we learn the details of all 3 steps, let's make sure we know why we're focusing on writing effective copy in the first place. When you're designing a website or landing page with intention, you're going to make decisions about features like images, colors, fonts, style, and more. So, why is copy such a priority on a landing page like yours? Well, the main purpose of your community landing page is essentially to communicate and connect with another person. And storytelling is one of the best forms of human connection. And your copy is your storyteller. So let me tell you a story. You may have heard me tell this story in the past. In 2018, I curated a film festival panel on the impact of sound and silence in film. And while preparing, I spoke with leaders in sound and music, including Steve Orfield, who designed the world's quietest room, a space so silent that you can hear your own heartbeat. In one conversation, he shared research from a school building project. Even though that building was designed for accessibility, they found that everyone, whether or not those individuals had accessibility needs, preferred the more accessible environment when compared to other school buildings. And of course, when spaces are easier to use, we all benefit from them. So, when your copy is clear and accurate, your landing page is more accessible. And as we just learned, increasing accessibility benefits everyone. When your copy is organized and concise, your landing page helps you communicate clearly. When your copy is honest and personable, your landing page helps you inspire connection with the people who resonate with your story. And when your copy is direct and transparent, your landing page helps you grow an engaged audience because people are able to decide for themselves if they're a good fit for your community, meaning that your landing page can help grow an engaged audience for you. Now that we know why to focus on copy, how exactly do we do that? Well, we do that with a simple formula that allows us to craft more effective and powerful text. And that is using the formula that I call what, so what, now what. We're going to explore each of these in more detail, but it's important to note as you're going through, lead with what. Explain that with so what, and then motivate your audience with now what. Let's start with what. This is your community, product, service that you offer. This is what you do for the specific audience member that visits your website. You could also think of your what as the why behind your organization or business or community, and it can be used on the homepage, the about page, landing page. The important thing is to lead with the transformation that you offer. For example, one of my clients runs an online business teaching people how to become fluent in Spanish so they can fully enjoy their next trip to a Spanish-speaking country. Their what is your footpath to Spanish fluency. This tells you what they do, but more importantly, it tells you the why behind the organization. Next, we explain with so what. This is the information that comes after what. The audience might now be asking themselves, why should I care? As an audience member who visits your website, they're thinking, why does this matter to me? You've told them the why behind your community or the product or service that you offer and how you think it might help them. Now is the time where you actually need to share more about what you, your community, the product service actually does. This is where you provide more context, even more details about the what actually means. So in our example, my client is creating a path for Spanish fluency for their members. So their so what is learning a language should be fun and relaxing. Join a live class, and it goes on to explain more. They've created a unique and fun way for their members to learn Spanish online as individuals and in a group. For my clients' website visitors, we've explained the significance of why it matters to them. So if they're interested in learning Spanish in a fun and interactive way that prepares them for their next trip, they know more about how because the instructor explained it to them. They'll get to practice with a safe and fun group on demand or with live classes, something they'll have identified with and want to be a part of. Then the next step is to motivate with the now what. As an audience member, you've told them what it is that you do. Then you've told them more about that specifically in the so what. So now it's your turn to tell them what to do now that they have this information. Okay, they're thinking, that sounds great. Now what do I do? You need to lead them to a clear solution that will help them decide how to engage with you for what it is that you offer. And this is done with your call to action. It could be a button, a link, or something else. But remember, be specific where a visitor will go when they click. Write more text on buttons if it's not clear where they're going to go next. Remember our story from earlier, everyone benefits from a more accessible website. For the Spanish language learning business who helps curious travelers join fun, live classes, and take on-demand lessons to prepare them for their next trip, they introduced a button that allowed users to start learning Spanish today. Their what, so what, and now what in this one section flowed really well from what we do or the why behind the organization to their so what, the take part, join us, here's how. And in order to participate and learn with us, you can sign up to start learning Spanish today. That's the now what. Notice how we use something more specific like start learning Spanish today instead of buy now. Should we take some time to see what this looks like in the real world with some website examples?
100%, let's do it.
Okay. So here we go. My challenge for you, and you can do this in the chat or on, I don't know if social chat shows up the same way, but can you identify the what, so what, and now what of this particular website? And if you can, feel free to write just one of them. If you do them all, that's cool too. If you want to write out one of them, see if you can identify the what, so what, or now what. Yep, so join the lab, Tom said, is the now what. Yes, that's the motivation, the activity that you want someone to do. Yep, so the what, Patty, is that first kind of larger text. Join the premier community for creators to experiment, learn, and grow together. That's really the why behind this business. And so that leaves us with the so what, the explain a little bit more in this particular singular section on the website. I wanted to call out a couple of things of design elements, which is that you'll notice a big gigantic blue button, join the lab today. So it stands out. The call to action is very clear and visible. There's also some social proof with testimonials. And all of the things on this particular section explain really well.
Matt, if I can also ask a follow-up question, I think what was really curious about the previous page is like what is bolded and what is not bolded. Do you have any thoughts around how and when to kind of pick those elements that you really want to like pull up and show in front of people's faces?
Yeah, so you're sort of indicating as the designer, or in this case, if you're building your own page, you're sort of indicating what people should read first. I think sometimes it can work in your favor, but it can also not work in your favor. So if you read a wall of text, it can be hard to decipher or skim quickly. And so in this case, maybe the things that are most important to the designer, the community business owner, Jay Clouse here, is the idea of experimenting, learning, and growing together. And so community is a part of that bigger vision, but really the vision, the why behind the lab is to experiment, learn, and grow together as creators. And so probably just addressing that biggest point, but keeping it within a sentence structure that makes it easier to read. We've all seen text where there's like a bunch of emojis, and it can become a little bit overwhelming. So that's why I was saying that if you bold too much, it becomes harder to know what's important.
Love that. Super helpful.
All right. Can you identify the what, so what, and now what for Matt Diavella's master YouTube? Yep. Patty, Tommy, learn how to make better YouTube videos and get more views. That's the actual reason behind this community course. Join the waitlist, exactly. Now what? So this is one that kind of rolls in and out. There's open and close launches. So there's still a call to action. We still want to capture attention. Maybe we're not ready yet, or we do open and close launches. So you still have a call to action to participate in some way. Notice once again that the only things that are purple on this screen are the call to action buttons. So it stands out from itself. The background's a video, so I couldn't capture that here. But you can see that it's one of the only things, even in the previous one, that was colored that way. So it's a technique that can be used to make sure to draw attention. All right, we've got one more. This is Flux Academy's community for web designers. Can you identify the what, so what, and that what? Yeah, I feel like some of you are picking up on the pattern now that in the hero sections, which is all I've been showing you so far, the what tends to be the bigger text or the headline for that section. So launch a thriving career in web design. If you're a web designer, that sounds pretty appealing. So that's the why behind it. The what could be learning more about, the so what could be learning more about the what's included in there. This one probably could get in more detail than what it does. So it doesn't quite explain it as well as I would like to if I were doing that. And then in this one, we have two now what's. And so Tommy called out that watch a trailer is one. So if you might be more intrigued, you might watch a video as a call to action. You can see that that one's kind of a darker purple, which is their brand color. And the light pink color, discover more, is a secondary call to action that is supposed to kind of sit a little bit in the background. Hard to do on darker ones, but maybe if this was a lighter background, it could do that. And so in this case, there's two, but they really want you to choose. And so usually the one that you want your audience to choose, you should make sure to highlight in some way. Good question, Patty. Is it more effective to have only one CTA? Yes, I think for the most part, which is why I would say that in this case, I might color that Discover More button with the outline and have it be transparent with white text instead, so that it kind of feels like if you're really curious to learn more, you can. It just takes you further down the page. So it's not really a purpose. If you want to learn more, you're going to scroll anyways as a user. So I would almost try to lean in if you can ask yourself that same question when you're designing to try to limit choices. If you get an email from a newsletter that you have and there's like 32 links inside, it's no longer about should I click, it's which one should I click. And so that's a friction point that you're creating for your audience member. The more accessible, the lower the friction, the better the results. So if you want people to learn more, maybe have a section specifically designed to tell them that.
I love that you call that out, by the way, Matt, because I think when people are building out, their first landing page, or, they're setting up a website, this always feels like the most immediate trap of I need to pack every single thing that my potential customer or my audience would want to know. And I'm just going to add line after line, paragraph after paragraph. And then you get these like H1 texts that are like 8 lines long and the subtext that's like 4 lines long. And I think it's always really hard to think about what do I pare away. And the advice I always got when we're creating landing pages or speaking is that you got to act like you're feeding a baby, right? You're going to give them a little bit of food, let them chew, let them digest, and then swallow, right? You're not just going to keep feeding food over and over and over again until you get all the food in them, right? You want to take a little bit of a break, you want to take steps, and you want to do it slowly. And so I love that you called that out, right? It's like, let's focus. I have a nephew. I promise I treat him better than just stuffing him with applesauce. But I love that you call that out of, hey, let's break up the most important pieces and let's do it with the what, so what, now what kind of framework as a starting point.
Yeah, your story pairs really well with Alexis here of having a froyo with too many toppings on there. It's like you can't really taste the individual flavor if that's what you want to do. So, yeah, obviously I'm not. I didn't design this. Well, that's not obvious, but I didn't design this website. They did, and they have probably conversion tracking and things to understand what the difference is. But from my experience, the simpler you can make something is usually the better answer. Right. So now that we've seen landing pages that have done this out in the wild, let's put these learnings into practice with an activity. For our activity, let's take 5 minutes to write down the first section of your new community landing page, or use a section that you want to rework. Create your what, so what, and now what. And if you want a suggestion, you could start with that main section, the hero section of your landing page. And go ahead and also, in addition to the what, so what, and now what, note any design preferences. So you saw from the website examples that there were some images, some videos, some color related to the text. So you can feel free to include like what that would be in like a Word format. If you have any imagery that you already know that you want to include, go ahead and note that there. And then show off a preview of your community, an introduction of the community, leaders, and even what's possible. So these are just some ideas for you, if that's helpful. Then, after a few minutes, I'll ask if a few of you would like to share, either off mute, in the chat, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then I'm also happy to provide some feedback to you during that time while you work. So you can ask questions while you work if you're getting stuck, not sure. Before we get started with the activity, what questions do you have?
I was muted. Sorry. We got Krista is a landing page the same as your home page on your website, or is it best practice to have two separate sites?
I think it depends on your goals. That could be my answer for everything. But the homepage, if like the primary purpose of your website is your community, you could have your homepage be the landing page. The idea of a landing page is it's something people get to, or you send them to directly. That's where the name comes from, essentially. But this is like the sales page for your community. So if the main purpose or goal of your business is the community, it could be something you do. Some people have a blog that they are able to write articles about that are relevant to the audience in their community. Some people have maybe services or products that they offer in addition to the community. And so I feel like sometimes it's helpful as a homepage to be like a store tour or like a home tour. So when you go to a friend's house, maybe for the first time, as like a what do you call that? Like an open house. Usually they're going to show you, they're going to welcome you in, show you around, maybe the main rooms in the house, the kitchen, the backyard, whatever it might be, so that you get acquainted with what's there, where the bathroom is, you know, the things that you need, the things that you want. And so a homepage's job, I view it as kind of like that. You might show that you have a community. You might also say, here's something else that might benefit you. And those actually link out to the main pages, like your community landing page. And so in that case, you have both a homepage and a landing page that you can send people to. So home is for discoverability, and it points to the different branches of your business. And the community page, which could be your community landing page, is a dedicated space for you to refer people through email newsletter, if you use social that way, events, etc.
Awesome.
And I think what we even found too, like when we were, first starting Heartbeat as a company, was it's tough to do, a ton of things well at once, and do them with really high fidelity. And so we kind of held off on all the different things, right? Like if you go to the Heartbeat main website, there's like a bunch of different things you can click on. You can go to the help center, you can go to like the partners page. There's lots of different links to click on. We start off with just a simple landing page it just has kind of the hero section. It talks a little bit about some of the features, and then it goes down and allows you to go ahead and create your community. And we found that like in the early days, just doing less, but doing it really well was the best way for us to just build the business and think about how do we serve our customers the best. And I find that sort of continues if you're starting your community from scratch. If you're starting with 5 to 10 members, what tends to help is how do we build just a landing page really well and not focus on adding a ton of additional elements until we feel comfortable with the experience that we're providing to our members, until we feel comfortable with the fact that, hey, we're charging, $50 a month. People are really happy. They're getting the things that they need. And now it's time to focus on, expanding and kind of growing that. And so that's what I find, especially if you're starting off from day one, is the simplicity and focusing on doing fewer things really well tends to serve you well.
We do have a couple of answers. People who've been doing the activity.
Nice. So Tom, I see yours in there. Is it okay with you if I provide some feedback to help you out? Feel free to post yes or no. Please. Okay, cool. I always think it's important to ask for permission. So with the what, you'll see this. So I kind of alluded to it in the intro of the session, but at the end, I'll give you a link to my community landing page resource guide, which details everything. But I would say that if you can, with the what, reducing it down would be really helpful. And usually when people land on your page, they know kind of they know that they've landed on something. And so I think sometimes the welcome to could be skipped because they're already there. It is nice, it's warm, and if it fits your tone of voice and preferences for messaging, I'd say keep it. But what's the real transformation that you provide? I love how personal it gets. And so I think if the challenge to you would be, how could you reduce the overall text and then lead with that transformation? So the brand new online community built for X could actually be a part of the so what and the transformation or the why behind what you do. Let's just lead with that in as few words as possible, if that's helpful for you. All right. It's hard. The chat jumps as soon as somebody new puts it in. So
very active, yeah.
We did have
I'm like reading it and then it goes away.
I know it's doing it to me too. We did have Layla gave a link. I don't know if you want to. She's already got a page that she thought she kind of followed your format on.
Okay.
Do you need me to pop it back into the chat?
No, I found it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. That was your link.
It was a little higher than that one.
Okay.
Oh, she gave it back to us again at the bottom of the chat here. Thanks, Layla.
So you said it was Layla?
Yeah.
Yeah, Layla. I'm assuming also okay to provide some feedback based on sharing the link again. Okay, cool. So Layla, you can't see it because I'm sharing the presentation side that says your place to belong. The Chameleon Collective is a digital sanctuary for high masking autistic adults who are tired of drowning in burnout. Join now, see pricing. And then there's a cool little video that I can't watch yet, but I'm going to bookmark this for later. So this is all done with the Heartbeat sign-up page creator. And so what I would say is that I really enjoyed reading the So What. It told me more about what's there and why I might care. And so I think that part, it told me more about why I might care, would potentially be a really great solve for your place to belong. Your place to belong makes sense when you have more context, but if it's possible to provide a little bit more detail, and one of the best things that you can do is use your own members or community, if you don't have members yet, people in that space, use their words in replacement of your own in this headline. And so it could be essentially talking more about the outcome of being in a group where you are avoiding burnout and having that sanctuary for the high masking autistic adults. And then I think because the page itself gives you 2 buttons, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't do that. Yeah, I love that you included a video, so thank you for that. Sorry, no one else can see it. Well, I guess you can if you click the chat.
And one thing that you mentioned, just as you're reading the next one, is talking to your members and getting some feedback from them on how they perceive the community to build that into your wording. And what we found was actually a really helpful exercise was to just ask customers, what is the one biggest benefit that you get from Heartbeat, right? Like that one question and leaving it as an open-ended field, we found that we got so much context, so much feedback, and there were things that we were seeing that kind of went past the like, you get this tool and this tool and this tool, and it was more around, hey, this is a platform that allows me to build my business without speed bumps, without running into friction. This is a way that reduces all of the complexity that I see from the other tools. And we found that leaning into that actually became way better messaging than just listing out every single tool and feature that Heartbeat gave you. And so that question is like, what is the main benefit that you receive from this community? What is the one biggest benefit? Tends to be a really telling question, especially as you're designing your landing page copy.
Sarah is asking if you can go back to one of the examples so she can have some inspo again.
Oh, sure. Who is it?
Sarah is asking if she can see the examples
Sarah.
again.
Okay. Let's jump to this one.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to leave up. We got lots of answers.
And I know I'm missing so many of them, but
doing some good work here.
is it possible with Riverside to like export the chat so I can reach out to folks after the fact, or?
For sure, I can do that.
Okay, cool. So I see Patty's here towards the bottom, and I know that means I've missed some of the other ones, so I just want to let you know that if you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. I'll share how in a little bit here. But Patty, is it cool if I share some feedback for you? Thanks, Patty. So I like how you described it a little bit as well, because that's helpful for me. Oh, it keeps disappearing. All right, so Anahata Circle is our online home, a space where families connect with Anahata wherever they are. So what? It keeps the heart of Anahata alive, offering belonging, wisdom, and community even beyond Mexico. Now what? Join us in Anahata Circle and begin or continue your journey of connection and transformation. So with this one, what I would say is that you've got a very clear so what, and I'd almost say that it tends to blend into the now what. And so what I might encourage you to do is, with that sort of call to action, is try to see if you can reduce the word count, and so that you don't take away anything from your existing so what, is to pull what's currently there and put it into the so what. So you've got the button, which has a lot of text right now. And so then just reduce that and put it into the so what, that descriptor. And then with your call to action, I would keep it pretty simple. I think you even had it as a starter, join us in Anahata. You could even say, put the circle there if you wanted to, but you're essentially like showing that welcome vibe by saying join us in instead of join now, or something that seems pretty action oriented. But the hesitation I usually like to call up is, if it doesn't feel like how you'd say it to somebody, then I would change it. And so if the buy now or whatever, that text that typically works, it works maybe for like e-commerce, but not necessarily for community. So if you can kind of lead with that warmth that you're providing, people are looking for connection, especially in our time. And so being able to have that transfer through your words, I think would be really helpful. All right. So I know that there's some more that are there. I want to make sure to follow up with those. So I'll show you how to do that here. I just also wanted to thank you for sharing with me. Being able to work through your own landing page, to work through your own community, and also to share can be really vulnerable. So I appreciate it. Thank you for doing that, and for others here who might benefit from our little feedback session. So we just used the what, so what, now what formula to write the copy of the first section of your landing page, which I call the hero section. So how do we create all the other content for a landing page? Well, I thought it might be useful to outline some of the most popular or most common landing page sections, specifically for community businesses like yours. So here are some of them. There's quite a few, as you can see, that you could choose from to include in your landing page. And depending on the type of community that you have or what stage you are at in launching a community, the nice thing about this formula is that you can apply it to each of the sections, not just the hero section. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could apply the same copywriting technique to email marketing, to social media, because it transfers across all of those as well. Let's take a look at an example of how community business uses the what, so what, now what formula for one of their landing page sections. So here's a screenshot of a community tour walkthrough of the lab on their landing page. The what in this case is look inside the lab. It sets the stage. It's an invitation to get a tour of the community itself. Most community websites do not show the behind the scenes, but they should. So what? There is a click to play demo. In addition to those feature callouts that walk out, as you can see the text below, what you actually get on the community platform, showing the forum, live chat events, and whatnot. Seeing the platform in action through the video makes that value tangible. You can picture how you're going to use the community for yourself every day, getting answers fast, learning from others, and not feeling stuck on your own. Again, meeting that promise from the hero section. Then now what? If that's what you're after, you can join the community and start your creator journey. So if you're curious to do the same, my resource guide that I'll be sharing with you covers this in more detail. So there's that little stressor here of tired of going it alone. Well, I've created a community landing page guide to help you expand on what we talked about today. Inside of it, I get more specific into what we covered in our discussion today. There's also some practice sections that I've created an editable area in each of them to break down the landing page sections, which gives you the ability to practice actually writing your copy for each section. And then there's an opportunity in there as a bonus for everyone that goes through it. I'm offering a free website review and feedback sessions, and the details of that are inside. So here's a little preview of the guide itself. Feel free to go ahead and scan the QR code with your phone, or you can navigate using the link below. Of course, you're welcome. I'll leave that up for a little bit, and then I'll show it again at the end. Oh, thank you, Misty. That's probably more helpful than leaving the screen up. All right.
It's in the chat, guys.
If you're thinking, hey, Matt, that's cool and all, but I would just prefer that you just do it for me, we've got you covered. With our Heartbeat Design Day, my partner and I will build you a fully custom, responsive website for your community business all in one day. I'm a recognized top website designer, and we've refined this process after working with over 150 businesses. We don't use templates. We don't use any AI web creators, so it's all custom built by us for you. We'll provide you with personalized guidance on exactly what to include on your website, and then we'll take care of the rest. So as a thank you for joining me here in my live tutorial, we're including the Heartbeat Connector add-on entirely for free, so we can seamlessly connect your Heartbeat community to your website. Plus, you'll get our support after launch and access to our website training library to help you get the most out of your new site. So if you'd like to pop in to the Design Day to check out that limited time bonus offer, feel free to scan with your phone or navigate using the link below to save your spot.
And before we move on from this, I really, really want to hype this up. Like, if this is something that you've been thinking about for a while, you want to build like a really great business, and you're, working towards how do we get more folks in the door? How do we better communicate the value that we're creating to folks that are, checking out the website, that are maybe window shopping a little bit? Matt is in like the top of the top in terms of being able to help you build something that's really going to connect. And I think there's a lot of folks that, you can go in, you can, figure out the landing page copy, you can figure out the wording, and you can totally do it yourself. But you also have the opportunity to work with just an absolute expert like Matt to make sure that you knock it out of the park on your first try. And so if this is something that you've been thinking about a little bit, if you do have the budget and it makes sense that, hey, we want to make sure that we're really giving this, putting our best foot forward as we launch this community, Matt is like 1,000,000% the best person to go to. So I really, really want to hype up the fact that like, this is not a small thing that he's showcasing over here. The fact that he's helping you build out a website and the fact that he can do it so quickly is something that you should really consider if you're trying to amp up the velocity of your business, if you are trying to grow faster.
I appreciate that. All right, so I'd like to ask for you to take some time to ask for your feedback and reflection. The first thing I always like to ask is, what's one thing that you've learned today? Feel free to share that in chat. What are you going to work on next? And as a gentle reminder, remember to take time for self-care today. The thing that you said at the beginning, snuggle with the dog, go for a walk, do the thing that mattered to you, that's going to bring you joy, recenter you, recharge you. What questions do you have? What can I help out with here before we close out for our session for today? I have one for you if there aren't any that come in.
There were a lot of questions that came in, but I know one that actually came in a couple times was actually being able to see what this might look like with a Heartbeat landing page. If you have any examples, you can pull up.
Yes. So would doing it together work for everybody? So I can just show you what that looks like. I'll see if I can share my screen.
Not only do we have like a yes to that question of doing it together, we have like resounding heck yes, yes please, but yes in all caps with an exclamation point. I mean, there's so much energy.
Okay, so let's go with, if anyone's got something, otherwise I'll just use, I know this is a demo community, so if you want to, or you go to account settings in your community in Heartbeat. If you don't have Heartbeat, use the link that the Hearth provided for you to get like a discount code or get started. And then you'll find in account settings sign up page. And so this is a demo course that Misty was very kind enough to include me on. And so I'm just going to go ahead and edit one of these. And so essentially you'll have more to do, but than just what I'm showing you here. Okay, so we've got a custom landing page, and I'm doing this live.
Turn that toggle on, everybody. It's probably off by default, which makes it just send them through the payment process with no landing page. So make sure if you're trying to figure out where do I do this, turn on the custom landing page toggle.
Yeah, this one right there. Yeah. And there's a help article that walks you through the different steps here. But let's just pretend this is my SEO course, which is not. It's just because I have the copy already set up here. So you can see that we've got a title, we've got the subtitle, the description title, and then we've got the description itself. And so you can plug and play the information that you want to show up here. And then you could have more information there. And one of the nice things is if you wanted to, you could add videos, testimonials from your users. So that video, we saw user Layla have a video that they added to theirs. You can see here that there's people from the community that they uploaded for. Let's go ahead and just click update. So I'll probably have to edit this a little bit more. So you can see here that this text is actually here, but I probably want to bring it here instead. And so we could just continue to edit and refine the particular information that we want. I don't know if it updated yet.
It must not have saved.
It seemed like it did.
Yeah, it might be you want to reopen the preview link.
Okay.
Like to preview it again, yeah.
There we go. And obviously this is just the first section. And these aren't my brand colors, so you're going to spend more time refining the rest of the page. But you can see here that we've got the what, the so what, and the now what in this case. And obviously we could choose to have more control over buttons, but the sign up page gives you the option to be able to display this. And if you've got a video, it will show up right underneath this section right here. And you've got the testimonials, footer, and all that good stuff. So this would be your community landing page for Heartbeat that is built within Heartbeat. So it's going to connect all those things like the paywalls and everything that you already have set up, which makes it a whole lot simpler. But if you're doing it on your own website, you can accomplish something similar with maybe like some users were saying, if you have specific design preferences or you want to include more than what's in here at this current stage of the sign up pages, you can absolutely do that. That help answer some of the questions that were coming in?
Yeah, Krista is asking about fonts and colors. You can change the colors. That's in your theme settings where you kind of set the colors in your whole community. There's a spot that where it will affect your sign-up pages as well. So
yeah, so this is just going to show you specific information, but then you change your community theme up here. So your logo, splash image, the colors that you have, Any particular imagery that you want to include would be in the community theme that goes across the whole theme, like Misty was saying, and then the sign-up pages are here.
Tom, this one is my demo community. So no, currently not everybody gets a demo community for free. I'm sorry.
And then David asked a question too, which was, is there a way to turn off the see pricing button? So if there's no pricing on an offer, then that button automatically disappears. We only add it in for paid communities, just so people can be able to scroll down, get access to the pricing. And then Tom also asked, is it possible to link to somebody else's community just to see what a community looks like? Not yet at this time, just because it hasn't been like too big of a request. But if you drop in that request at feedback.heartbeat.chat, we actually take a look at those requests pretty regularly as we're updating features.
All right, so one question I have for people is, if you could ask for a tutorial that builds off of this one, this is just kind of like notes for myself, what would it be? What would it look like? How could we help you out further in a tutorial that maybe goes further or covers something else in this line? Video, cool. Showing the page sooner. So it could be like going through and actually building out a sign-up page through Heartbeat might be something that people be interested in. SEO, of web design.
Don't worry, we're going to make sure to export this chat for you, Matt, just so you have access to all this too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and Krista, if you have questions, reach out. Because I have experience using Wix, I'd be happy to give you some guidance. Right, so I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with me for today, for your time, attention. I look forward to seeing your progress in community building journeys. So in that resource, like I said, you can download it, it's free. And inside it's a Notion doc that walks you through everything. It is like a worksheet, so you can fill it out. And then when you have it filled out, you can just book the call for free, where I can give you some feedback on what you've created. And if you like the idea of me doing it for you, that's what the one to the right is for, the Heartbeat Design Day. So if you have questions on either, feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt. We are so excited to have had you today. This was a ton of insight, a ton of knowledge that I think is going to help so many people really like build and launch their community faster. Like I said, if you haven't already, please, you should really, really scan these 2 QR codes. We're going to include these links in the wrap-up email with the recording as well too. But I wanted to call out, like, this is just an incredible wealth of knowledge. And it's so, so important to get good at how you build out your digital presence, and your landing page is generally like, starting point number 1. And so that's why I'd really, really recommend going through this and spending a little time running through the resources that Matt has. As you guys are building, if you are looking to build on you're looking to build a paid community, a paid membership, you're trying to create a space where you can bring folks together, and you want the best tools, the best tech, the best payments infrastructure, the best workflow automation tools, everything that you need under one roof to build it. I would be remiss if I didn't, talk a little bit more about Heartbeat. If you want, we have a discount for anybody that joins in the next 48 hours. All you have to do is create a free trial in the next 48 hours, and we'll give you 50% off for your first 3 months on Heartbeat. Just use the links that you'll see in both mine and Misty's little bio over there. It is heartbeat.chat/Matt. We like to have that just because we love to reward the folks that show up live to these calls. We have so much fun during these calls, and we're always so excited to have such an active audience. So feel free to use that link to start and create your community, and you will get a discount whenever you decide to upgrade. All you have to do is create your community in the next 48 hours. With that, I want to thank you guys so much for showing up live. Again, being present, taking an hour out of your day to come learn with us and hang out with Matt and soak up all the knowledge he has. We have a couple more events coming up as well too that you'll find in our events calendar. The next one that we have on September 10th is with Bree Lever, one of our amazing Heartbeat partners. She is talking about how to hire a community manager. So if you are building your community and you're thinking about the next stages of what does it look like to actually grow your team and bring someone on to help you run the community, this is going to be an amazing, amazing tutorial to join in on. We try to do these every 2 weeks, so we're always gonna have some great knowledge for you on how to continue growing and building your community. Thank you guys again so much for joining on live. We appreciate all the time you spent with us. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
All right, thank you so much.